Hi guys, my name is Rishali Demda. I hope you all are doing great and I hope your examination for accountancy was very good. Even though if it was not good, let's just leave it, right? It's done and we are going to move ahead to our paper number 2, that is your business laws. So today we'll be trying to revise major of your chapters in this marathon that will help you to get your good marks. Like before examination you can see this and it is going to be very helpful for you. Okay, so I hope you all are going to be there throughout the session with me, supporting me with taking this entire marathon, recalling all the topics with me. Okay, let's not waste much of your time and switch to our chapter number 1, that is your Indian regulatory framework. Okay, so your chapter number 1, Indian regulatory framework, talks about what is law, how law is made, what is the process of making law, source of law, what are the various judicial systems, etc. Right, let's just quickly revise them, each one of them. I'm using this ICI journal material, so this is going to help you. ICI is doing so much for you people that they are making the journals or chart summaries for you people. That is going to help you a lot. Okay, and we are referring to ICI because that is what is required in examination. Let's quickly start with our chapter first point, that is meaning of law. Law is a set of obligations and duties. It is imposed by the government for securing welfare and providing justice to the society. So law is a set of obligations and duties imposed by the government for securing welfare and providing justice to the society. Okay, now what are the sources of law? Our primary source of law is your constitution, right? Then presence of the judicial decisions of various courts. Various court give the decisions, etc, etc. So that is also source of law. The statutes or law made by parliament and state assemblies. Whatever laws are prepared by the parliament, state assemblies, statutes, etc, will be considered under your source of law, and in some cases established by customs and usages. We follow this custom, so that becomes a law for that particular provision. Okay, now for Constitution of India, they have specified few things. For most law, now they can ask you how Constitution of India is there, what is the major source of law in the country. So you can write Constitution of India, you can elaborate. Foremost law that deals with framework within which our democratic system works. This is the first law prepared under which the democracy of our India works, democratic system works. Our laws are prepared for the people, by the people. Okay, laws are prepared for the people and by the people. Provides and protects certain fundamental rights of citizens are given in constitution. Lays down fundamental duties as well as powers and duties of government, central and state, or both. Whatever fundamental duties and powers and rights are there of governments also is given in constitution. Laws in India are interconnected with each other, forming a hybrid legal system. So we have a hybrid legal system, all the laws are connected to each other. Okay, people who wrote the constitution decided to divide the lawmaking power between central government and various state governments. So lawmaking power is divided between central government and various state governments. Indian constitution has three lists, with central list, state list and joint list. What are the three lists that the Indian constitution has? Central list, state list and joint list. Okay, I hope source of law is clear to you people. Great. Let's go ahead. Keep your energy live. I know you have already given a paper, but now we need to revise it, and this will be very much beneficial to us. Okay. Now, process of making a law. When a law is proposed in parliament, it is called as bill. So it goes under various stages. First is it becomes a bill. One second, I'll just plug in. Yeah, so your law, when it is proposed in parliament, when we are just talking about it, it is a bill. After discussion and debate, the law is passed in Lok Sabha. So discussion will happen whether it is right or wrong. People will argue, people will say yes, no, all these things will be happening, and then it will become passed in Lok Sabha. Thereafter, it has to be passed in Rajya Sabha. So first it is passed in Lok Sabha, then in Rajya Sabha, then it has to obtain the assent of President of India. Third step is to get the approval of President of India. And finally, the law will be notified by the government in the publication called Official Gazette of India. And when it is done in the Official of Gazette of India, it will be notified as a law. So from a bill, it becomes a law. All the steps it goes through. First, it is proposed in parliament called as bill. Then discussion and debate happens. It is passed in Lok Sabha. Then it passes in Rajya Sabha. Assent of president is taken, and finally it will be notified by the government in the publication called the Official Gazette of India. Okay. I hope the law making process is clear to you. If they ask you, this is a very good question and you can write it very smooth. Okay, let's see what are types of laws in the Indian legal system. So we have our criminal law, civil law, common law, and principles of natural justice. Let's see each one of them. Criminal law. Criminal law is concerned with pertaining to violation of the rule of law or public wrong which people do, punishments and whatever wrong you are doing. All this is given in criminal law. For this we have Indian Penal Code 1860, Code of Criminal Procedure 1973 CRPC, and criminal offences are your murder, rape, theft, fraud, cheating, and assault, and there are many more. Okay, so Indian Penal Code defines crime and its nature and punishment. Where the crime is defined, nature and punishment is given in Indian Penal Code. What happens in Code of Criminal Procedure CRPC defines exhaustive procedure for executing the punishment of crime. How we are going to execute that punishment is given in CRPC. Okay, what is the procedure, how you have to approach in the court, etc. All this is given in your Code of Criminal Procedure. In Indian Penal Code, they will tell you if you do this, this is a crime, what type of nature of crime this is, what punishment is to be given. All this will be given in your Indian Penal Code 1860. Okay, they can ask you a short note on criminal law. Next that we have is our civil law. Now, civil law discusses matter of dispute between people or individuals or organization. If there is a dispute going on between individuals or organization, you can refer to civil law. Worker and employee fight is going on, you can refer civil law. Law primarily focus on dispute resolution rather than punishment. Here punishment is a lesser aspect, but how you have to solve this issue, how you have to give a resolution, that is the first criteria. Code of Civil Procedure 1908 CPC is referred over here. That act is referred. Further classified into law of contract, family law, property law, and law of tort. So civil law is classified further in law of contract, family law, property law, and law of tort. Okay. Civil offences means breach of contract, non-delivery of goods, non-payment of dues to lender or seller, defamation, breach of contract, and disputes between landlord and tenants. Okay, we have already seen the civil offences. Just a quick revision for you people. Now, it's a marathon, so I'll be going a little fast for you people so that you can cover maximum in a minimum time. Okay, maximum concept in minimum time is our target. Common law. A judicial precedent or a case law. When we have a case law, that is called under common law. A judgment delivered by Supreme Court that will be binding on all the courts within the territory of India. All the courts in India will be following the judgment passed in the Supreme Court. Doctrine of stay decisis, to stand by that which is decided. We have to stand by what is decided in the Supreme Court. That is going to be converted into law. That will become the final verdict. You have to take the reference of it. You can maximum go to Supreme Court. So if Supreme Court has given any decision, any judgment, that is binding on everyone. Reinforces the obligation of courts to follow the same principle or judgment established by previous decisions while ruling a case where the facts are similar. Where the facts are similar, you can refer that particular case. So it becomes a common law. That is why it is said criminal law, civil law, and common. Now, principles of natural justice. Natural justice, often referred to as just natural, deals with certain fundamental principles of justice going beyond written in law. Something which is not written in law, but still it is considered that this is the natural way of doing particular thing. That is the natural justice you will be giving to that person. That is your principle of natural justice. So, what are the rules for it? No one should be made a judge in his own case. You can't judge your own case. If I am the judge of my case, will I say that I have done something wrong? Obviously not. I will not say, because no one blames themselves. So you can't be the judge in your own case. Next is, hear the other party or give the other party a fair hearing. You have to give the other party also chance. It is not that you only speak and speak and speak. Give the other party also chance. Two people will be involved in a problem. Okay, reasoned decision. The decision should have some reason. A judgment can override or alter common law, but it cannot override or change the statute. Whatever judgment is given of natural justice, that can override, that can exceed a common law, but it cannot change the laws or statute that is there. Okay, I hope the laws are clear to you people. Great. Let's go ahead to the enforcing the law. The government of India exercises its executive authority through a few government ministries or department of state. So we have various ministries and department of state which are governing, which are seeing the execution of laws made. A ministry is composed of employed officials known as civil servants. Civil servants, excuse me, civil servants are those who are employed by the government for the ministries and is politically accountable through a minister. And all these people, civil servants, are accountable through a minister. They have to report to a minister. Most major ministries are headed by a cabinet minister. A cabinet minister heads the major ministries, who sits in the Union Council of Ministers and is typically supported by a team of junior minister called Minister of States. Under your cabinet minister, there are various ministers of states. Okay, clear till here? Great, let's go ahead. So your Ministry of Finance is the first one that we are going to cover. It is concerned with economy, right? Nirmala Sitharaman, concerned with economy of India, serving as the treasury of India. Money is all saved over here. Concern itself with taxation, financial legislation, financial institution, capital markets, center and state finances, and union budget, right? So all these things are important in Ministry of Finance. Important functions is the presentation of union budget. We'll be seeing that happening soon with us, right? Now, interim budget or the budget before the elections was done. Now we are going to see the union budget also coming forth. Constitution of Ministry of Finance, it is the apex controlling authority, and four central civil services are there in your Ministry of Finance. What all four civil services are there in your Ministry of Finance? They are your Indian Revenue Service, your Indian Audit and Account Service, Indian Economic Service, and Indian Civil Account Service, right? Then there are various departments under Ministry of Finance, that is Department of Economic Affairs. Expenditure, we have to see what economic affairs are there, how much we are spending, revenue that we are generating, what all financial services we are providing, investment and public asset management, how we are managing the assets of the government, and Department of Public Enterprise. Okay, this was about Ministry of Finance. Let's go ahead to Ministry of Corporate Affairs. For your companies, Ministry of Corporate Affairs is there usually. It is an Indian government ministry principally concerned with administration of Companies Act 2013. How your Companies Act 2013 is working is looked after by Ministry of Corporate Affairs. The Limited Liability Partnership Act is also looked after by MCA, and the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016 also is looked after by your Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Companies Act, then LLP Act, and your IBC code, right? All these are looked after by your Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Responsible mainly for regulation of Indian enterprises in the industrial and service sector. So whatever Indian enterprises have been established, their regulation is done under MCA. Ministry is mostly run by civil servants of ICLS cadre. The officers are elected through civil services examination conducted by UPSC. So Union Public Service Commission conducts the examination, and they will be selecting who will be going under MCA, what officers will be there, who will be the officers. Highest post is Director General of Corporate Affairs, DGCOA, is fixed at apex scale for the ICLS. Okay. Then we have our Ministry of Home Affairs, that is the Ministry of Government of India, right? As an Interior Ministry of India, it is mainly responsible for the maintenance of internal security and domestic policy. Your internal security, domestic policies are to be taken care by Ministry of Home Affairs. The Home Ministry is headed by Union Minister of Home Affairs. Under your Department of Home Affairs, you will see the border management, seeing that our country is protected. Internal security is also to be done. Department of Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh Affairs is a separate one under Home Affairs. Department of Home, Department of Official Language is to be maintained, and Department of States is there. Okay, this was about our Ministry of Home Affairs, Griha Mantralaya. Then we have Ministry of Law and Justice. Ministry of Law and Justice in the Government of India is a cabinet ministry. Deals with what? Department of Legal Affairs, concerned with advising various ministries of central government, while the legislative department is concerned with drafting principal legislation for the central government. So your Ministry of Law and Justice majorly works in two parameters. They advise central government about the particular things, like various ministries they will be advising, and the legislative department they will be drafting principal legislations for the central government. Okay, now it deals with what? Management of legal affairs through Department of Legal Affairs. Then they have legislative department and administration of justice through Department of Justice. Okay, then we have your SEBI, Securities Exchange Board of India. All the securities and commodity markets are covered over here. It is the regulatory body for securities and commodities under the ownership of Ministry of Finance with Government of India. So this SEBI is under your Ministry of Finance. It was established on 12th of April 1988 as an executive body and was given statutory powers on 30th January 1922 through SEBI Act 1992. Okay, through 1992 they got the statutory powers and the act was enacted, SEBI Act 1992. Then we have our Bank of all banks, Reserve Bank of India. It is India's central bank and regulatory body responsible for regulation of Indian banking system. It is under the ownership of Ministry of Finance, Government of India. Under the ownership of Ministry of Finance and Government of India, it is there. It is responsible for the control, issue and maintaining supply of Indian rupee. It also manages country's main payment system and works to promote their economic development. So economic development, ownership of Ministry of Finance is there. Then it is responsible for how much money, how much Indian rupee is working, it is flowing in the nation, that is taken care by RBI. Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mudran is a specialized division of RBI through which it prints and mints Indian currency notes. So Indian currency notes are printed and minted by Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mudran in two of its currency printing presses located in Nasik, Western India and Devas, Central India. RBI established through National Pension Payments Corporation of India as one of its specialized division to regulate payment and settlement of systems in India. So it regulates payment and settlement systems in India. Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation was established by RBI as one of the specialized division for the purpose of providing insurance on deposit and guaranteeing the credit facilities to all banks. So if you want to keep the deposits or you need any credit facilities, you have to go to Deposit Insurance and Credit Governance Corporation. Okay, clear everyone? Let's see the next one, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India. It is regulator for overseeing insolvency proceedings. If someone becomes insolvent, they have to file that under Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India. Okay, all the proceedings happen under this board. Proceeding and entities like insolvency professional agencies, insolvency professionals, and information utilities in India. So all these are working under Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board. IBBI board was established on 1st October 2016 and it gives statutory power through Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, which was passed by Lok Sabha on 5th May 2016. So this board has been given powers by IBC Code of 2016. What does it cover? It covers individual. Who does it cover? Specifically, individuals, companies, LLP, partnership firm, all are covered over here. New code will be This new code will speed up the resolution process for stressed assets in the country. So whatever stressed assets are there, which are disputed and etc., these type of assets are there in the company. Asset here means your company, individual, everyone also. That will be taken care. It attempts to simplify the process of insolvency and bankruptcy proceedings. So IBBI board tries to simplify the proceedings. Now, it handles the cases using two tribunals. NCLT is the first tribunal under which it is handling the cases, and Debt Recovery Tribunal. Okay, this is the two tribunals under which your Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code works. Okay, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India works. I hope we are clear almost to the last point of this particular chapter, that is functions of judiciary system of India, and then the hierarchy of courts. Function of the judiciary system: regulation of interpretation of act and codes. The codes, acts, the laws that are being made, they are regulated, they are applied, and the interpretation is clear to the people. That is taken care by judiciary system of India. Dispute resolution: you have to give the resolution to the general public. That is also taken care by the judiciary system of India. And promotion of fairness among citizens of the land. All the people should feel that they are being treated fairly. Okay. Now, last part of this particular chapter: hierarchy of courts. First is your foremost Supreme Court. It is the apex body of the judiciary. Chief Justice of India is the highest authority. An individual can seek relief in the Supreme Court by filing a writ petition. This is important to remember. By filing a writ petition only, you can get the access to Supreme Court. You can file a case under Supreme. Presently, the number has increased to 34. Principal bench of Supreme Court consists of 7 members, including the Chief Justice of India. How many members are there? 7 members, including Chief Justice. Presently, the number has increased to 34, including Chief Justice. So this 7 number has become 34 now, and including your Chief Justice of India, due to the rise in number of cases. Every day so many cases are happening. So seeing that they have increased the number of members, there are 34 members now instead of 7 members. Okay, includes your Chief Justice of India. Then we have our High Court. There must be a High Court in each state. Each state should have a High Court. Has appellant, original jurisdiction, and supervisory jurisdiction. So it has an appellant and original jurisdiction and supervisory jurisdiction on the people. Highest court of appeal in each state and union territory. For your each state, the highest court of appeal where you can go is your High Court. So the next one after your High Court is your District Court. So it is below the High Court, like next to High Court. Then you have Court of District Judge, deals with the civil law matters. So your civil law matters are dealt with your District Court. Civil judge can try suits valuing not more than 2 crore. Civil judge cannot do any trials more than 2 crore value. Courts get territorial jurisdiction based on the areas covered by them. So whatever area is covered, that much only jurisdiction they have. Cases are decided based on the local limits within the parties reside or the parties under dispute is situated. So where if the dispute is there between two people of Hyderabad, so they can get the settlement done in District Court of Hyderabad only. Okay, or where the dispute has happened, that situation, or where the parties reside, so that is going to be the priority in the district courts. Then we have our metropolitan courts. These are established in metropolitan cities in constitution with High Court where the population is 10 lakh or more. Where your population is 10 lakh or more, you also have the metropolitan courts. Okay, in consultation with High Courts. Chief Metropolitan Magistrate has powers of Chief Judicial Magistrate. Metropolitan Magistrate has the powers of Court of Magistrate of the first class. All these points you can remember for your chapter number 1, and we have summed up very nicely your chapter number 1. I hope the Indian Regulatory Framework chapter number 1 is very clear to you people. Great. Let's move ahead to our next chapter.